There we go. We're going live.
Oh, yeah.
Gay icon, he's a gay icon. He is gay, he is an icon. He's gay and white icon. Gay icon. Gay icon. Jeffrey Dahmer's a gay icon.
I prefer Jeffrey Dahmer.
Are we live?
So is Mark Allman.
Yes, we are now.
And that rumour.
Yeah.
He's well known in the gay community and bathhouses. He's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Brucey Kibbets wants to know, have you been watching some hecking Netflix Doritos then there, bud?
I don't have a Netflix.
Do you want a review of the show?
Yeah, Geralt, we've got a special guest here, Geralt. He's oh, hello, don't say fuck all bugger. We've got a special guest today. Well, we've got regular guest.
I only said fuck 3 times last episode.
Good evening.
Yes, that's right. But we have a special guest with us. It's Geralt, and he's our Netflix correspondent. So you've been watching the LGBT+. The plus stands for paedophiles, what bleach bones in bleach.
Yeah.
And paedophiles. Now, please tell us, who is Jeffrey Dahmer and why is he such a gay icon? Well loved by the gay community.
It's Pride Month, Pride Week, October. So basically, it's about this gay nerd who wants to bum black people, and then he gets really sad and angry, and then gets really hungry, and then he makes do with the nearest organism. And as far as I'm aware, that's LGBT culture, and it's because the guy he looked at some tadpoles when he was young.
We've all done it.
And now he's hungry for cock.
Yeah.
There's a penis in the camel.
Yeah.
Nothing can satisfy his hunger for cock.
Yeah.
Let me just mention something then. He said that there's a penis in the kettle. Now, for the American audience that are listening to the show about gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer, kettle is what the Americans call a microwave.
Yeah. So basically, I think the whole focus on true crime serial killer stuff, it focuses people on long gone psychos, and it focuses people on individuals, and it takes people's attention and time away from researching systemic evil that we actually face. And I think that's sort of half the reason that it's propped up. And it's an acceptable outlet for how do you put it, edgy shit for normies. So, yeah, daily reminder that our enemies are Moloch worshipping paedophiles with infinite money.
Which they print out of thin air whenever it suits them. But then when it comes to giving you stuff, it's sorry, ain't got enough.
Hobbit, did you know Aussies are ruthlessly mocking Yanks for only just discovering...
Well, American coffee is when they all piss in a jug and microwave it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how to brew up either tea or coffee.
Yeah, they call it the Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
have a look at this in general. A swift and easy way to heat water without using a stove. Consider the electric kettle. This is from the New York Times in 2022. Consider the electric kettle. Many models will even let you set a precise temperature. Key for getting the best flavour from coffee and tea.
It's standard, mate.
Yeah. This is the real problem with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. So I'm amazed there were that many gays just openly out and about in the 90s. I really am. In the late 80s, I didn't know there were,
Well, you see, it was the pioneering work.
I don't think there were. It's just they were gathering. They weren't spread throughout culture, were they? So they had to go into their little hidey holes, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's where he camped out. Yeah.
You see, back
they were all in Brighton.
He was gay spawn camping.
Yeah, he was a spawn keeper.
Back in the 80s, there was a gay rights campaigner who had a hobby as a singer and musician called Freddie Mercury. And what he was doing was sowing the next generation of gays by bumming as many men as possible before he died of AIDS in the early 90s. And thanks to him, that's why we now have homosexuals. I want to break free.
Mark
They also
Ullman
on the
contributed
Netflix
as
show
well,
tried to
didn't
make
he?
it like they tried to make it like woke. So they're like, oh, like fucking look at these, look at this guy. He was like killing black people. Let's make an episode about the people he killed, and like it's because the police were ignoring it. It's like, were they though?
Well, they didn't. They didn't. They didn't when they caught him. It looks like this is like record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got it. We'll do the record scratch. When they caught him, the reason they caught him was because he didn't have to worry about undoing the handcuffs, obviously, because he cut the hands off and pulled it off the end of the stump. But so what happened was that his last victim escaped, which we'll probably get onto at some point, and Jeffrey didn't have the key for it, and that's how he.
Hemi.
And that's why the copper ended up going through his flat.
Hey, Hemi. Would you say you fell down the stairs?
It was just like falling down the stairs.
Just like falling down the stairs.
Penis in the Kettle, though, that was a song by UB40, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was...
No,
There's a
that
penis
was
in the kettle. There's a penis in the kettle. What am I going to do?
I thought it was by Sting and the Police with penis in a bottle. Penis in a kettle.
Well, that works as well. Yeah.
Better late than never.
Unicorn.
But yeah, the Netflix show is weird. It's just about it's about this gay nerd falling down the stairs a lot.
SOS to the world. I'm sending a net.
Better late than never.
Really
I've finally found it.
You pull it out, it sounds like someone's falling down the stairs.
You still got it. So yeah, basically, it's a Lupin experimental arty film about literally. It's about a guy falling down the stairs over and over. Really weird. And then when he gets up, he's got monkeypox.
And so is the dog.
Yeah.
And boy. Oh, well, you're not supposed to know that.
Because they fucked a monkey, and then they keep doing it, and then they come up with these diseases because God punishes them.
That's just a homophobic slur.
I don't think that was monkeypox, was it? Well, it's definitely AIDS, but not monkeypox. I think that was something different.
So if monkeypox doesn't come from monkeys, how is it an STD?
It's an STD. I thought it wasn't. Okay, fair enough. I haven't done my research.
And they're like, all you've got to do is just stop fucking people's lower intestines. And then they're like, they did all this shutdown over COVID, and it's like, just
unfortunately,
these orgies, and they're like, no.
Guest's lexicon is not up to date. It's not referred to as pridepox anymore, as monkeypox anymore. It's referred to as pridepox.
Oh, pridepox. Yeah.
Because calling it monkeypox is racist towards, I can't say it because of Miss Wojak. She doesn't.
People that don't look like monkeys at all in any way whatsoever. That's why they get
Google facial recognition technology definitely.
The people which are going to be officially known as Jeffrey Dahmer's boyfriends. Remember, gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer was what we
remember.
Interdimensional wizard in the chat said Floyd Bowler.
That communication is key.
Yes, so gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer, when using products such as bleach.
When trying to create your own zombie in your flat or having sex with a man, remember that communication is key.
Yes, it really is.
Really interesting how one of his victims was 14 at the gay club. It's like, what?
If you had any tears or you felt like something was wrong down below, then please seek medical advice.
Please seek medical advice.
That's right. Yeah. If you've got a tear, put it in the medical vice, and then it will keep the tear together.
If you wear a mask, though, that'll protect.
Yes, you have to wear a mask.
Are we going to start talking about Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, or are we just going to do a load of random
now, gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer.
Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. Remember, his dad's name was Lionel.
Yeah.
When he turned 4, he had surgery to fix a double hernia in his head. The surgery seemed to have a negative effect on Dahmer because shortly after this, his mood and demeanor changed. As the years went on,
in his head.
Yeah, when he was 4, and as the years went on, he became quite withdrawn and detached. So yeah, that's
what is a hernia?
bang in the head.
A hernia is when you. I don't think it's a hernia in his head though, is it? Because a hernia is when your intestines come through your.
It's the girl from Harry Potter, isn't it?
Is it something to do with like connective tissues not holding things in where they should be? Let me just have a look.
Isn't it like cancer?
It's a play-off from basketball bioluminescent African American agent.
Isn't it like ball cancer, that kind of thing?
No.
Oh, I've missed
a hernia.
hernia.
Is when you have a tear in your stomach wall and your intestines start coming through the muscle. I think is.
Yeah.
The hernia is the abnormal exit of tissue or an organ through the wall or cavity in which it normally resides.
Oh right, so it can happen anywhere. Oh yeah.
So
you can have a herniated disc in your spine, can't you?
You can have an inguinal hernia, which is a nasty one.
Buggery
can cause this condition,
it's
buggery.
On the lower intestine, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I like poo, I do," and then that basically is what set him off.
He's a shit slinger as well.
Box. Yeah, I want men's shit on me.
Yeah.
That's good. That is.
Oh, what was this? Jeffrey Dahmer, gay icon.
So, from an early age, Dahmer manifested an interest in dead animals. His fascination with dead animals may have begun when at the age of 4, he saw his father removing animal bones from beneath the family home. According to Lionel, Dahmer was oddly thrilled by the sound the bones made.
So it's a bit like with Christian. They're like, it's like, oh yeah, his babysitter fucking put him in a room, and then that's why he ended up fucking his mum, like to the theme song of Transformers.
He helped to clean his father in that activity, with getting rid of the carcasses, and he enjoyed the noise that they made as they were dumped into the bucket to be thrown away. So
he said,
and that was shortly after his head operation.
He became preoccupied with animal bones, which he initially called his fiddlesticks.
I'm just going to play with my fiddlesticks now.
Yeah, and put a fiddlestick in the kettle, didn't he?
He put a fiddlestick. Yeah. He put his fiddlestick in a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of white goods.
I'm going to become a human slinky.
But have you seen that Glass Coffee Table German film, the shitting on that one? You know that one? It's
more than one. The Germans, the reason they have glass coffee tables is so that you can do a poo on it. Enough to do a poo inspection shelf in the toilet. Your coffee table should also help in the examination of one's bowel movements.
Well, on a poo inspection shelf, you can only check it from the top hobbit. You know, the Germans, you've got to thoroughly inspect that turd, haven't you?
And also, if you're into that, surely you want it to go all over your face. So what's the point in having the coffee table there?
Well,
unless you have a good look and put your face into it afterwards, but it's not as fresh then, is it? So it's not as enjoyable for them. I think
it's probably in the same way that, you know, those sushi chefs which make the food in front of you and then you eat it. It builds anticipation.
Yeah. So like literally gays do eat the poo-poo, is what we're saying.
Eat the poo-poo.
No.
I watched a film last night which Jeffrey Dahmer would have been interested in called Bad Black. And it's Uganda's top action film. And there's a scene in it where a guy who looks a lot like Richard Spencer is chasing this black man through the streets in Uganda. And he falls into a pile of poo. And there's someone called a VJ who's like narrating the film for you. And he says, "Oh, he fell into the pool, the Ugandan pool." But, so,
and then Richard Spencer went, "Cheers, Louis."
I'm just getting the feeling, Ian, we're going to get another one of those reviews from that geezer that reviewed the Fred West episode.
Can I just briefly say we will focus back on, we will circle back onto the subject of gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer, but Richard Spencer, or at least the guy who looks like him in this film, he's chasing after some Africans with a machine gun, and he's also a doctor because like he's white. And so the VJ on it's like saying, "This doctor needs some borders."
What happened in the end of this film?
You know what? I don't really know. I think they had a dance or something. I kind of. It was a bit hard to follow along.
So quite a solid storyline in this.
The beginning was brilliant. There was a car chase, and there was gunshots, and there was this little kid who was called the Black Schwarzenegger, who was teaching Richard Spencer how to fight. And then Richard Spencer goes and kills a bunch of blacks and Bad Black. Oh, that was it. There was a drug-dealing woman,
Did he say,
and Bad Black
this,
had to kill her.
Did he say this?
You'll never be an Englishman.
Or did he say this, Hobbit?
I've had some good burgers in my time. I love a good melted Swiss cheese and roasted mushrooms and caramelized onions on a burger. That is hot stuff. You can get that at a number of different places.
Right, so just before we get back onto the subject of gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer, there's another scene in it where, like, Richard Spencer's really angry because he's getting beat up by a bunch of Africans. And in it, he's like saying, "Oh, he's angry now."
That is hot stuff.
You'd be angry too if all you could act in is a Ugandan film.
Go spray some powder.
So yeah, this film is called Bad Black, Ugandan action film. If you look for it, don't look for it now because we
really terrible stuff.
Back onto the subject of gay icon Richard Spencer, but I just felt it was pertinent to the discussion. Sorry, not gay icon Richard Spencer, gay icon Jeffrey
Well, that's
Dahmer.
interesting because your mom is actually making me lunch today, so
my mom's been dead for a long time. So
Alphabet Cat said McDonald's should really do a McFascist burger.
How much Spencer burger?
Yeah, I think him and Nick Fuentes should go cum hunting together. With their phones and take pictures of each other sleeping, because that's totally normal. Definitely not gay Mexican behavior.
So, gay icon, not Richard Spencer, gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer.
In 1968, the family moved to Bath Township, Summit County, Ohio. So then 2 years later, during a chicken dinner, Dahmer asked Lionel what would happen if the chicken bones were they're both called Dahmer. So Dahmer asked himself, Lionel asked himself, did he? What would happen if the chicken bones were placed in bleach? Lionel, pleased by what he believed to be his son's scientific curiosity, demonstrated how to safely bleach and preserve animal bones. Dahmer incorporated these preserving techniques into his bone collecting, and also began collecting dead animals, including roadkill, which he would dissect and bury beside the hut, with the skulls occasionally placed atop the makeshift crosses. According to one friend, Dahmer explained to him that he was curious as to how animals fit together. In one instance, in 1975, Dahmer decapitated the carcass of a dog before nailing the body to a tree and impaling the skull on a stick in the woodland behind his house. As a prank, he later invited a friend to view the display, claiming he'd discovered the remains by chance.
Just standard behavior.
And also, there was an incident in high school where Dahmer brought a tadpole to class to give to his teacher. Peculiar. Understandably, the teacher had no use for the tadpole and gave it to another student. When Dahmer learned of this, he went to the student's house, took the tadpole out of its aquarium, poured gasoline on it, and set it on fire. So
nice. The same year, Lionel taught his son how to preserve animal bones. Joyce began increasing her daily consumption of Equinil, laxatives, and sleeping pills, further minimising her tangible contact with her husband and children.
Yeah, his mum was fucked up.
Why? Because she was covered in shit the entire time. Because she was asleep and couldn't control her bowels. What was going on?
What?
When you poop, it reminds me of Family Guy. When you poop in your sleep, you poop for real.
he shit down the stairs easy.
She fell down the stairs. It was just like falling. It was just like falling down the stairs for her when she was asleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also reminds me of the young ones, don't it? Can you actually kill yourself with laxatives? No, but I'm going to hang around and find out.
It's yeah. Told you. So he was like, these tadpoles, I'm a kid. This makes me really hard. I'm going to shit on everything. That's amazing, and that's why he did what he did.
Yeah.
Because of the tadpole. Because the tadpole looked at him funny.
Yeah.
Now, are you saying you're not accepting Jeffrey Dahmer's gay lifestyle choices? 'Cause we won't have any such intolerance to gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer on this show. We respect all parts of the spectrum and all kink.
Yeah, it's Pride Month, isn't it?
Because we're all trans.
Yeah.
YouTube, we're all trans.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do the announcement video yet, but Susan Wojak, if you're listening, I am trans.
Yep.
I identify as, well, not Jeffrey Dahmer, although that is a legally accepted gender now.
Yeah.
I identify as non-binary and also gender fluid, and it changes based on my mood and what day it is.
Yeah.
Because I will not be confined to one gender expression. That is very ableist and cis-normative. There we go. Anyway.
I identify as every single Digimon in 2014.
Mark Almond. Dom is here. Dom's
Which
here.
is also which are both recognised as genders now.
That's pretty controversial, Dom, because even the Yorkshire Ripper distanced himself from Jimmy Savile. Do you remember that when the Yorkshire Ripper said, "Well, I didn't know, I weren't mates with him"? Do you remember that? He said it publicly, didn't he?
If you sexually identify as Jimmy Savile or gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer, that is a perfectly legal gender definition, because we used to know there's about 6 million different genders in the world.
Yeah.
My pronouns are nailed in.
Mark Almond had 2 pints of gender fluid pumped out of his stomach. So the rumours goes.
Was it him that rumour was about? I've heard that rumour about a celebrity. I can't remember which one.
I heard it about you.
Oh dear.
He's yeah. So he basically people
and there's
and
there's the Richard Gere rumour, isn't there, as well? Gerbil, isn't it?
The
Richard
gerbil
Gere.
in the anus.
Yeah.
We saying he was a Roman.
The declawed gerbil.
He's not as clean cut as he comes across on the big screen.
Well, he just comes across as boring. It's like I haven't seen a film. Boy. He's you know, you have to watch your dose of Richard Gere, don't you? Because otherwise you could overdose and end up slipping into a coma, couldn't you? I've never seen him in a decent film. I mean, he just pits shit films all of the time.
He's too busy putting gerbils up his arse. That's why.
What films is Richard Gere into? Richard Gere.
Yeah, but
Richard Gere gerbil Hobbit. That's what you get.
The Shop Boys got their name because of that activity, didn't they? That's what it is.
Did you know that his middle name is Tiffany? Richard Tiffany Gere. See, do I recognise any of these films? He was in American Gigolo, which is about gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, that's shit. That was shit. Yeah.
An Officer and a Gentleman, which was about gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer.
But Mothman was rubbish.
No. The thing, it is. That's the trouble. Mothman, which could be a good film, he was in it, and it was shit.
Yeah. It was
it's a
about
terrible
him looking
film.
into the mirror and red eyes looking back.
What do you think? Yeah, you think, oh, Mothman, that'll be good, a bit of monster, and then it's all about emotions and feelings, and it's not a monster at all.
That's a good film, though, to be fair.
I haven't seen any of these films.
The Mothman. You did an episode on the Mothman.
No, if you like Mothman, it's not a good.
We
film.
did, yeah, we did.
We did. Mothman, it's not a good film because he ain't in it. They blue ball you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get a phone call.
I want to see Mothman. It's like watching Jaws and there's no shark in it.
Yeah.
I might have. Oh, he's in First Night. I've seen First Night.
Was it any good?
Sean Connery. No, it was forgettable.
Yeah.
There is something though. The new Halloween film's coming out, isn't it? Should be good. Go and see that. Make sure I don't get pissed in the cinema this time though.
Have you seen a good film yet with Richard Gere in it, Hobbit? Have you seen one on that list?
No, I've never seen any of these films except for First Night.
Yeah, I advise you not to watch them either.
Now, you may be asking yourself, why are we talking about Richard Gere when we should be talking about gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer? Well, rumour has it that Richard Gere was his favourite actor.
Oh, isn't Hachi a Dog's Tale supposed to be good?
Not the dog that Dahmer cut the head off. No.
He was in The Simpsons as Richard Gere.
Yes, he
The
played
Simpsons
himself.
is shit these days, though, isn't it?
Oh,
South Park is better.
It was in the
South
Jackal.
Park's
It
better
was
than
in the
this.
Jackal remake. I can't find
Never
anything
heard
on
of
this
it.
list that was any good.
In a romance film of some kind, probably.
I think The Game was all right. Was he in The Game, or was that someone else in? No, that was.
He was on
that
The
was
Game,
someone
I
else
can
in
tell
it.
you that.
Single Richard Gere movie like made for TV.
I think they are. Yeah.
Shall we? What's the next thing in this story then? Who's going to tell us? We're still
right,
dealing
so-
with his early life. His early
So we're
life,
talking
is
about
it?
his adolescence and high school.
Yes.
Obviously, when he was a
go on.
drunk at the age of 14. Do you want to talk about that, Ian?
Actually, have you got that there? Hang on a minute.
Yeah,
Wait there.
From his freshman.
Oh, wait there. No, actually, I got a bit here. When he was 16, Dahmer admitted to fantasizing about doing horrible things to a female jogger he had seen running by, but never acted on it. He had managed to keep control of his fantasies until the end of high school.
I thought it was a male
Dahmer's
jogger.
parents had gotten a No, it says female here.
Oh, okay.
Maybe maybe there was more. There probably was more than one jogger, but Dahmer's parents had gotten a divorce around this time, and to help him cope, they stuck him in counselling, which did not help. Just a few short weeks after he graduated high school, Dahmer murdered his first victim. But let's talk about the boozing first.
Yeah, from the age of 14, he began drinking beer and hard alcohol in daylight hours, frequently concealing his liquor inside the jacket he wore to school. He's known to have mentioned one classmate who inquired why he was drinking scotch in morning history class. But the alcohol he consumed was my medicine, he called it. Although largely uncommunicative in his freshman year, Dahmer was seen by staff as polite and highly intelligent, but with average grades. There's another article I want to go through, because he had a fan club. The Jeffrey Dahmer fan club. Where is that? He had a fan club at school. And they used to all take the piss out of him.
Pissed at 14, and like apparently, like he'd do impressions of spastics. And
we've all done that, though, haven't we?
So he sat there, 14 years old, pissed on whiskey, going, fuck someone in the arse and eat them. Like,
I don't know if you guys went to school in the 8th episode. The school ground was full of everyone doing that.
That was a great move from the BBC, that was.
Yeah, it was. I don't think they get those things these days. But no, that was really good. But anyway.
I'm going to have to find this because I didn't.
What we got? I'll just do a bit.
Give me 1 sec.
Dahmer grew up relatively isolated due to his family life and his lack of wanting to form any achievements, and by the age of 13 he had no friends and no one to talk to. So according to Dahmer himself, at this age he began to have dark fantasies, and these fantasies included murder, necrophilia. As his fantasies began to take over his mind, the young Dahmer turned to alcohol. So that's where the whiskey came into it. See, at that age, I was fantasizing about lesbians, but sisters.
So
I'm just watching.
The Jeffrey Dahmer fan club was not some weird cult they created for a murderer, but a group of ignorant high school guys. They thought it was funny to watch young Dahmer walk around their school and the Summit Mall pretending to have seizures and speech impediment. What fascinated me was because I did the same stupid things with my high school friends. Page after page of the novel showed cartoon drawings of what was unmistakably my high school, my band room. Even the rock I spray painted with Class of 04. It was an eerie feeling to read a book and realise I could have put my brown bag lunch into the same locker Jeffrey Dahmer stored who knows what. The scariest realisation was that Revere had not changed much since I went there 25 years later. It made me think, I wonder what my classmates are doing now. Well, he knows what one of his classmates is doing now.
Yeah.
957 years, that's what he's doing now.
Yeah. And covered in feces, yeah.
Are necrophiliacs part of the LGBTQ alphabet mafia?
Well, they say Savile was a necrophiliac, didn't they? That's why he used to work in the morgue, do voluntary work
Didn't some
in the
rock
morgue.
cunts bliss on him, though?
No, he was just drug smuggling with some arsehole.
I wonder what his mummy was like. We already said she was hopped up on drugs and laxatives.
Yeah,
I just want to know what happens when you take laxatives and sleeping pills. I just want to know what occurs.
You shit the bed. That's what happens.
Shit happens.
You have a dirty dream.
When you poop in your dreams, you poop for real. It's just the mix of sleeping pills. Why? Why would you mix sleeping pills and laxatives? Why would you do that?
For a laugh.
Just keep your husband away from you. I don't know what she did it for.
Yeah.
So he came back. People said they could smell the apartment, like bleach that he had stored the bodies. But I reckon for most of his life, they could probably smell his mum.
Have you seen that thing? Because the blacks and the Asians are at it on Twitter, aren't they? One of them said if Jeffrey Dahmer was Indian, they wouldn't have checked out the smell in the apartments.
Right. Anyway, let's move on. What's next? What's the next part?
So
we're still in his early teens. Or are we still in?
So how far removed is this from Dennis Nielsen? Obviously, he's a Yank and he's completely ignorant of anything that's happened outside of America. But they're not that far apart, are they? Him and Dennis Nielsen.
But I don't think Nielsen had this.
At the most?
He didn't have this much of a fucked up childhood, but it's not as well known about.
I don't know.
Though the crimes are
about
similar.
The dead granddad, didn't he? That he was hanging around with.
Yeah.
Nielsen didn't eat anyone, did he?
Yeah. I think it wasn't far off, though, was it? And he was keeping parts in the fridge.
His apartment was just as bad.
But he never cut the head off a dog when he was young. I don't think.
He had Bleep. Bleep, was it Bleep? His dog.
Bleep.
Yeah, Bleep the collie, didn't he?
I'm not sure of his animals, but.
Imagine that, having Dennis Nielsen's old dog. You wouldn't want it coming back with
Imagine living in his old flat. Imagine living in his old flat.
Oh dear, which one? The one where he kept all the bodies underneath, or the one where he shoved
I used to live near the. I used to live near
toilet? It's both just.
It was the same place, wasn't it?
No, he had two flats.
No, he didn't.
He had the first one where he kept them under the floorboards and burnt a load out the back, and then he had the one where because that was a ground floor flat, and then he moved to a top floor flat where he had to put all the bones. He had to boil everything up and put it down the toilet, and that because that's how he got caught, the blocked drain.
Yeah, but it wasn't very. That was obviously going to happen. He wasn't stupid, I don't think. So I think he probably wanted to be caught in some way.
Jeffrey Dahmer was more thorough with his disposal of the bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that later.
Both did it when they were completely drunk.
I believe that the term referred to in the fetish community for murdering and disposing of a body is snuff and disposal, which is a perfectly valid kink amongst consenting adults and also the plus community. Let's not focus too much into what the plus part of the LGBTQIAAP2S plus.
Remember, people.
When using products like these or having sex with a guy, that communication is key.
Yes, it is. Jeffrey Dahmer always paid attention to that part.
Yeah, communication is key. Do you want to be murdered? Yes.
Yes. And Freddie Burnley learnt a lot from Jeffrey Dahmer, his gay icon.
And Jeffrey
Dahmer.
Oh, they did.
No, just saying it's Jeffrey Dahmer. Don't get it mixed up with Jeffrey Palmer, the sour-faced actor from Butterflies.
I've just been corrected by a member of the audience. Snuff and disposal is more commonly referred to as a snuff and chuck.
Snuff and chuck.
A tip for everyone, though. A tip for everyone and the people at home as well. If you do want to get rid of a body, get pigs. Give it to the pigs because they eat everything. Bones the lot,
Jeffrey Dahmer's mum-related gags. We've got laxatives and sleeping tabs. I think you turn into Amber Heard. And then Uno says it's the fault of shitty mums. Lol.
Yep.
In May 1978, Dahmer graduated from high school. A few weeks before his graduation, one of his teachers observed Dahmer sitting close to the school parking lot,
a bit before
drinking several cans of beer. You'd be before that then.
By 1977, Dahmer's grades had declined. His parents had hired a private tutor with limited success. The same year, in an attempt to save their marriage, his parents attended counselling sessions. They continued to quarrel frequently, probably mostly about shit in the bed, I should imagine. When Lionel discovered Joyce had engaged in a brief affair in September 1977, they decided to divorce, telling their sons they wished to do so amicably. Lionel moved out of the house in early 1978, temporarily residing in a motel on North Cleveland Massillon Road. And then we go to 1978, Ian.
Yeah, we just covered 78. If you want to do the next bit. First murder, how about that?
Yeah, go on then. You can do that.
All right, then. I'll do that one then. All right. Dahmer committed his first murder in 1978, 3 weeks after his graduation on June the 18th. Dahmer picked up a hitchhiker named Steve Mark Hicks, who was almost 19. Dahmer lured the youth into his house on the pretext of drinking. Hicks, who had been hitchhiking to a rock concert, agreed to accompany Dahmer to his house upon the promise of a few beers with Dahmer, as he had the house to himself. According to Dahmer, the sight of the bare-chested Hicks standing at the roadside, so when Hicks began talking about girls, he knew that any sexual passes he would make would be rebuffed. After several hours of talking, drinking, and listening to music, Hicks wanted to leave, and Dahmer didn't leave. Dahmer bludgeoned Hicks with a 10-pound dumbbell.
Isn't that how Dahmer got murdered, or is that someone else was battered with a dumbbell to death?
What, in prison? I don't know. How Dahmer was. I thought Dahmer was still alive. And I'm not gonna. Anyway, just he later stabbed and he struck Hicks twice from behind with the dumbbell as Hicks sat upon a chair. When Hicks fell unconscious, Dahmer strangled him to death with the bar of the dumbbell, then stripped the clothes from his body, exposing his bare chest with his hands. Then he masturbated as he stood above the corpse. Yeah. So nice. Peter Sutcliffe did that sort of thing as well, didn't he? He had his special wanking trousers on.
He had his trousers, didn't he?
Which was never discussed.
Yeah.
Which is
you're right. Right, by the way, he was killed by bludgeoning by a fellow inmate.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No,
because it was stabbed in the neck with a broken broom handle. Then was that Jeff? No, it weren't. That weren't Fred West, because he committed suicide, didn't he? Someone was
strangled himself
with a broken mop handle, but I can't remember who that was.
Well, the following day, Dahmer dissected Hicks's body in his basement. He later buried the remains in a shallow grave in his backyards.
What the fuck is wrong with these people's families where they don't notice the fucking blood all over the gaff? Like, you're dissecting a body, there's going to be a bit of blood that comes out, isn't there?
You're too busy rushing to see. Right, what was happening is when he was covered in blood and stuff like that, the family is like, "Oh, I see you've participated in yet another consensual activity with one of your gay lovers. Pride at any cost." And there's like, "Yes, that's right. I've participated in blood play where we consensually exchange bodily fluids, including blood. And now my partner is dead because he consented to that." Yes.
Plus, also, if you're on a concoction of laxatives and sleeping pills, you're either too busy sleeping or shitting yourself, or both, to notice any murder going on around you.
So you could say his mum really shit the bed then, couldn't you?
Yep. She was a bed shitter. But anyway, the following day, Dahmer dismembered. Oh, I've said that. He dissolved the flesh in acid before flushing the solution down the toilet. He crushed the bones with a sledgehammer and scattered them in the woodland behind the family home. So that's what happened with his first victim. So yeah, pretty efficient, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh, so college and army service. Have you noticed a lot of these people end up joining the army for a bit? Also,
yeah, well, what's his face?
Carbon copy of Dennis Nielsen, isn't he? Because Dennis Nielsen.
And also, what's his name? Lee Harvey Oswald, he was in the army, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's where he learned to shoot so well.
How he learned to shoot that rifle that was really, really shit and couldn't. And
Yeah, which he was really far away from JFK, so that was a good shot in the head, wasn't it?
The Carcano.
But you know, that murder, it was a no-brainer, really, wasn't it? I had to get it in, didn't I? Anyway.
Well, that's what happens when you're the only person wearing a hat, isn't it?
Yep.
You're the only person not wearing a hat, sorry.
Yeah. And his brains went all over the back of the limousine.
Yeah. So 6 weeks after the murder of Hicks, Dahmer's father and his fiancée returned to his home, where they discovered Jeffrey living alone at the house. That August, Dahmer enrolled at Ohio State University, hoping to major in business. Mind your own business. Is that his speciality?
Yeah, not like our government. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Tories, eh? Yeah.
Dahmer's sole term at OSU was completely unproductive, largely because of his persistent alcohol abuse through the majority of the term. He received I bet it was a good laugh, though, weren't he?
He wasn't as unproductive as the government, was he? Eh? Yeah. And the bankers.
Having received failing grades in Introduction to Anthropology, Classical Civilizations, and Administrative Science. Those are three degrees that really go together.
Three fucking stupid subjects. Did he do women's studies as well and media? Golf course management.
The only course Dahmer was successful at was riflery, having received a B grade. Oh look, there you go, like another Lee Harvey Oswald trait there.
Yeah.
His overall GPA was 0. I don't know what GPAs are, so it means nothing.
Range point average.
0.45/4.0. I mean, is that good or bad? What's it out of?
It doesn't sound good, but
I don't know.
Yank stuff. It's supposedly bad. B minus. B minus ain't bad though, is it? Oh, his overall GPA.
Still not bad.
Take over for a sec.
Okay, blah blah. On one occasion, Lionel paid his father paid a surprise visit to his son, only to find him in a room strewn with empty liquor bottles. Despite his father having paid in advance for his second term, Dahmer dropped out of OSU after just 3 months. So yeah. January 1979, on his father's urging, Dahmer enlisted into the United States Army and underwent basic training at Fort McClellan in Anniston, Alabama.
Hang on a minute. I dropped out of uni after 3 months. I mean, I'm a gay cannibal.
Yeah, could be. See, you never know. Before training as a medical specialist at Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio, Texas, he was occasionally reprimanded for intoxication. He liked to drink, didn't he?
How does he train as a medical specialist when his grades are fucking absolutely shit?
And when he's pissed out of his head, how is he going to perform, how's he going to put plaster on you accurately?
Forget about it.
Yeah. On one occasion, an instance of insubordination resulted in his entire platoon getting punished, earning Dahmer a severe beating from his fellow recruits. So there you go.
Oh, like in Full Metal Jacket.
Well, it's a good way to punish people, isn't it? So,
Private Pile.
Yeah.
He was hungry. He wanted a donut.
He was hungry for cock, as we'll find out later in the story. On July the 13th, 1979, Dahmer was deployed to Baumholder, West Germany, where he served as a combat medic in the 2nd Battalion.
You served in Baumholder?
Yep.
Oh, damn it, you beat me to the punch.
But it's Germany, isn't it? And Germany, we all know that Germany is where the glass coffee table video originated. So
in Bumholder, Strasser.
Well, there's a bumhole in that film. So anyway, according to published reports, in Dahmer's first year of service, he was an average or slightly above average soldier. So he wasn't that bad. Owing to Dahmer's alcohol abuse, his performance deteriorated, and in March 1981, he was deemed unsuitable for military service and was later discharged from the army. He received an honourable...
It was in the army where Dennis Nielsen was doing that weird thing when he was pretending to be asleep and hoping to be raped. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Did he have much luck?
I don't know, but there's a picture in the Wikipedia of Dahmer like laying out comatose. So I don't know. Was he wanting to be raped? Was he?
Could be. He wouldn't have turned it down, I'm sure, after what he got up to later in life. Anyway, his superiors did not believe that any problems Dahmer had in the army would be applicable in civilian life. So, he's not got off to a very good start, has he? Kicked out the army, dropped out of college. So, and he's also killed. He's killed someone as well by this point. On March the 24th, 1981, Dahmer was sent to Fort Jackson.
In the army.
Yeah. South Carolina. I think he probably did in prison, though, didn't he? In the showers. Bum raped. For debriefing and providing a plane ticket. Yeah. He was provided with a plane ticket to travel anywhere in the country. Dahmer later told police that he felt he could not return home to face his father, so he opted to travel to Miami Beach, Florida, where all the bums hang out, both because he was tired and cold, and in an attempt to live on his own means. In Florida, Dahmer found a job as a delicatessen and rented a room in a nearby hotel. Maybe it was nearby where Jim Morrison rented a room.
Did he get a little behind on the orders?
Dahmer spent most of his salary on alcohol and was soon evicted from the motel for non-payment. He initially spent his evenings on the beach as he continued to work in the sandwich shop until phoning his father and asking to return to Ohio in September of the same year. So, went on his adventure, but then he came home with his tail between his legs. So the murdering's not really started properly, is it, at this stage? Return to Ohio, anyone? Yeah. Okay. After his return to Ohio, Dahmer initially lived with his father and stepmother, and instead of being delegated with numerous chores to occupy his time, while he looked for work, he continued to drink heavily. And 2 weeks after his return, Dahmer was arrested for drunk and disorderly conduct. He was fined $60 and suspended 10-day jail sentence. Dahmer's father tried unsuccessfully to wean his son off alcohol, and in December 1981, he and Dahmer's stepmother sent him to live with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. Yeah, so that smelt of shit. Yeah, it probably smelled. Her flat probably smelt of piss and shit as well. So
and mothballs
and dishonourable discharge.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. Or gender fluid. Yes. Dahmer's grandmother was the only family member with whom Dahmer displayed any affection. They hoped that her influence plus the change of location might persuade Dahmer to quit drinking, find a job, and live responsibly. So, yeah. Didn't work though, did it? Initially, Dahmer's living arrangements with his grandmother were harmonious.
Well, from what I know about Wisconsin, it's a bit shit there, isn't it? So I think sending somewhere where someone's an alcoholic where they're going to go and be bored is probably a really great idea. It's definitely going to get them off the booze, isn't it?
Yeah.
Should have sent him to San Francisco.
Yeah, he would have preferred that, innit? Or Brighton. So, yeah. Or Manchester these days, isn't it? That's where they've all gone now. So
he would have been too busy to be murdering anyone, wouldn't he?
So,
Garrett, you've been a bit quiet, and you've seen the documentary. Are you going to comment on any of this?
Yeah,
how does this tally with the documentary? Was the documentary
accurate? So he lives with his grandma. He lives with his grandma for a little bit. And then I think he's still got the gay club, and he just brings back like random people, and even his grandma gets suspicious. It's like, and he tries to roofie a lot of them.
Roofie, what is that? It's some kind of gay term, is it? Or...
Yeah. So he basically goes, "Oh, does this smell like chloroform?"
And then does this smell like chloroform to you?
Yeah, and then he eats them at his grandma's, and then his grandma's like, "Stop bringing gay black people back to my house."
And then Jeffrey Dahmer said, "Stop being a homophobe, Mum. Love is love."
Yeah, and that's what he said. And then he went, "Grandma, if you see like you know, if you see like gay black people with AIDS suspiciously drugged, it's just because they drink harder than I do.
Also, it's their kink, and I respect their preferences to be unconscious.
And then he went, respect my pronouns, you fascist.
You bigot.
Damien says in chat, he says, does this lube smell off to you?
In early 1982, Dahmer found employment as a phlebotomist. What is that?
Act of drawing blood. So he was working in a blood plasma centre.
How is it these people fail upwards? I mean, I would have assumed being a phlebotomist is like a pretty good job, isn't it?
Yeah.
You thought you needed a biology degree at least for that.
And he had
you just got to be willing to jab people.
He was a medic in the army, though, wasn't he?
Did dissecting roadkill. I really love blood.
But he got that job in the Milwaukee Blood Plasma Center. So with Milwaukee, so maybe met the Fonz and Ralph Malph and that lot.
Have you not seen Wayne's World? It's Milwaukee. Do you remember that?
I've only seen the Bohemian Rhapsody bit, which always seems to be on telly.
Well, there's a bit where Alice Cooper gives him a lecture on Milwaukee and its origins.
But the Fonz was twice as old as the other kids he used to hang around with, wasn't he? The Fonz was about 40, while the rest of them were teenagers. So but anyway. That job there, the phlebotomist, he held this job down for a total of 10 months before being laid off, like I was the other month. Dahmer remained unemployed over the next 2 years, during which time he lived upon whatever money his grandmother gave him. Shortly before losing his job, Dahmer was arrested for indecent exposure. On August the 8th, 1982, at Wisconsin State Fair, he was observed exposing himself on the south side of the Coliseum, in which 25 people were present, including women and children.
Interject here and say Pink News and the ADL are working tirelessly to have these convictions on Jeffrey Dahmer overturned.
But anyway, for this incident, he was convicted and fined $50 plus court costs. But
he was trying to express his love for people in a public setting, and apparently that's a crime.
Do they have flashers anymore?
When he flashed to the women and the children, he went, "Don't worry, I'm gay."
I don't think they need to flash anymore. They just say they're trans and then go and just like have their.
That's not good, is it?
He went, "Don't worry. The idea of putting this anywhere near you sickens me."
But the classic flashers with a long brown coat and they flash, those guys.
Do you remember streakers?
Yeah, you don't get those anymore.
Usually some Fitbird with massive tits, weren't
it? Really popular, like people are just
or a bloke as well.
Fucking middle of a footy match, a big one. You just have a man or a woman running through it naked, wearing nothing but shoes and socks.
Do you remember that bird with the massive knockers that came up? Was it an FA Cup game or something?
No, it was rugby, wasn't it? Erica Rowe, she got quite famous.
Yeah, that's
she got quite famous.
She run across the field in the birthday suit for no reason.
And then they'd all get chased around, and the Benny Hill theme tune.
And when it was a bloke, I bet nobody really wanted to catch him, did they?
I bet when he tackled him, he went, "Ha ha, you're gay."
Yeah. There was one with the police caught him.
Oh God, he's winky touched my hand.
And I bet
there was one with the police caught the guy, and they put one of the police put his helmet over the streaker's helmet.
You know when
his helmet get AIDS.
When they tried to they turned themselves into a sack of potatoes to make it extra difficult.
Yeah, well. It's pretty good. But yeah, there was one at the snooker as well. One woman snooked at the snooker in the arena.
I'm a snooker hooligan. I'm just gonna roll across the table in the net.
As one does.
Yeah. All right then. Anyway, okay then. So that's what happened there. He exposed himself.
Do you want me to carry on?
You can do. Yeah, go for it.
Where
Yeah.
are we? 1985. In January
Next job.
1985, Dahmer was hired as a mixer at the Milwaukee Ambrosia Chocolate Factory. I bet anybody circa 1985 is. I bet they thought twice about the chocolate they ate, didn't they? Where he worked from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. 6 nights a week, with Saturday evenings off. Shortly after Dahmer found his job, an incident occurred in which he was propositionary. The stranger threw Dahmer a note offering to perform fellatio upon him. Isn't that a play by Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Although Dahmer did not
Like, so
respond.
this is the late 90s. You're telling me there were people they just walk around and go, "Do you want a blowjob?" You'd sit at the line.
No, I'd rather it said, "Would you like me to perform fellatio upon you?"
Oh, do you know about this thing called fellatio? No, what's that? Oh, let me show you.
It was Nelson's first name, wasn't it?
All you got to do, just sniff this.
I bet he was felated to be there.
Here we go.
When they say congratulations, they say félicitations.
So Fellatio Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm
Is that how
delighted to meet you.
Shake hands, you know.
Yes.
I was trying to I was trying to fit it into a sentence with belated, but I just can't think of one.
Belated fellatioed.
Well, come on. We've heard that, so save it for later.
Right then.
Is that what he said?
That fell on
saved
his
a couple
arse.
of things for
That's
later.
what Dahmer said.
Yeah.
I'll just save this
It's
for
just
later.
like
I'll put it
falling
in the
down
kettle.
the stairs.
Although
And now
Dahmer did not...
kettle for the American audience, that's known as a microwave, which you can purchase at your store.
Yeah, what is a
All
kettle
of
to
this-
Americans? Like they have these weird uses for like normal words, don't they?
Yeah, you show a kettle, they go, "What's this?" And like, they go,
Is that
"Oh,
where
is it
you put
rice?"
popcorn? Yeah, to
No,
the
no, a
Americans.
kettle's a shed that you keep cattle in, or something like that, don't they?
Yeah.
I believe a kettle is where they keep popcorn.
Were Jeffrey Dahmer's victims all strangers, or was he felated to any of them?
Oh dear. There's Dom felatedly joining the conversation. See, I got it there.
You managed to slip it in finally.
That's what he
I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one. I'm trying.
So anyway,
Barhouses. Go on,
so
barhouses.
Dahmer got his note where he said, "I would like to perform fellatio upon you." Although Dahmer did not respond to this proposition, he probably didn't know what fellatio meant. The incident stirred his mind, the fantasies of control and dominance he developed as a teenager, and he began to familiarise himself with Milwaukee's gay bars, gay houses, gay bathhouses, and bookstores.
You're
So
a
Milwaukee had a vibrant
At the
gay
gay
scene. Is
bar?
that what they're saying? Milwaukee,
You're a
vibrant gay
superstar at the
scene.
gay bar.
He didn't know what felated mean. He wasn't much of a cunning linguist, was he?
Is that
Not his-
whole
not his
that
thing,
whole Yale
Dom.
thing?
Not his thing, Dom.
That whole Yale thing. They speak
And
Italian.
Dom, I was going to say that, but it was on the tip of my tongue.
So anyway, what did gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer get up to next?
I think he was really into ass to mouth.
Did he ever go to a pride parade?
Yeah, he invented the idea. He did.
I don't think they had them in those days, did they? I think
so he was
Sydney
the first to
Sydney has
do-
always had a Mardi Gras, but that was a one-off, whereas Pride has really taken off in the last few years.
So did he found the Milwaukee?
Let's go out and celebrate
Wacky.
fucking each other, the bum and propositioning each other with weird attacks.
He's also
Oh,
known to have
right.
stolen a male
Horrifying
mannequin
stuffing.
from a store. Is this person just presumed the mannequins Mini mannequin's
Oh yeah, that was the scene. So like he nicked a mannequin so he could cuddle it.
Yeah, he's just practicing cuddling. That's perfectly acceptable in the gay community.
It's okay,
Those
Nan.
Japanese pillow things.
It's okay, Nan. I'm just practicing cuddling.
Yeah,
he's a competitive cuddler.
Yeah. Which he briefly used for sexual stimulation. I mean, it's one up from a cum socket, I suppose, isn't it? Until his grandmother discovered the item stowed in a closet and demanded that he discard it.
yeah. His grandma was like, "What you doing, you fucking weird cunt?"
What are you doing with that?
Killjoy.
By 1985,
Yeah, and then he was like, "This is my identity.
This is who I am. I am who I am, grandmother."
Yeah, he was like, "You're a fascist, Granny."
Love is love, Granny.
Yeah.
The love now I did also want to mention in this thing now noted gay icon Chris Chan did have an interview about who is and who is not Sonichu, and there are 3 people that are half Sonichu in the world, which is himself, Chris Chan, his father, who is now deceased, and it's not Jeffrey Dahmer, it's Ted Bundy, who I think was another gay icon.
And Hitler.
Ted Bundy weren't he? Was
so in the comic, legitimately, like Hitler takes over Quickville with Nazi Sonichus, and then he hangs out with Ted Bundy. Here's what I reckon. I reckon he watched the Zac Efron movie, right? And it's a weird fucking movie where it tries to portray him as innocent or something. And I reckon he was like, "Yeah, I'm persecuted. I've done nothing wrong as well." And he didn't watch it all and he didn't understand it. And then he's like, "Yeah, Ted Bundy, just like me."
Ted Bundy's best quote was, he said, "On your first murder, he said you have it all planned out, practiced out. You sort everything out." He said, "But by the last murder, you're wondering where the wrench is."
And then he was also like, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, Sonichu, Ted Bundy said he doesn't kill people anymore." So he's very aware that he killed people. He's like, "Oh no, he just got over that. It was just a phase, just like fucking demented mum."
So anyway, by 1985, Dahmer had begun to regularly frequent the bathhouses, which he later described as being relaxing places. But during his sexual encounters, he became frustrated at his partner's moving during the act. Following his stress,
that is Dennis Nielsen.
He is, isn't he? Following his arrest, he stated, "I've trained myself to view people as objects of pleasure instead of people. For this reason..."
That's his kink.
For this reason, beginning in June 1986, he administered sleeping pills to his partners. I hope he didn't put laxatives in there as well. Giving them liquor laced with sedatives.
This is another thing that, like, like the actual act of is supposed to be like an intimate thing that you enjoy with like another living person, right? But I suspect he doesn't see that because he's all about poo and the lower intestine at the end of the day, just like the rest of them. It's like, you'd once, wouldn't you? You'd be like, yeah, you just start seeing other people as a cum sock.
Well, that's what you see. Yeah.
It's not an intimate, emotional thing that, for the purpose.
Well, the thing is, it's usually some sort of weird event, isn't it, where they marry the two together. So for him, it was like he was like a closet gay, weren't he? Then he killed that gay bloke and masturbated over it. So, for him, masturbation's now wedded, getting your rocks
it's
off
death,
is now
it's
wedded to dead people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about entropy and death for him and the psychology that turns him on. Instead of it being a positive thing about life and a life affirming thing. I suppose
you can see from the alcoholism, it's having them being like corpses or dead still or whatever. It's him. It's the only thing he can control, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he started heavily drinking at 14. You said,
yeah.
I think that's when particularly with men, that they develop their kinks at around 13, 14.
Yeah.
Events that happen to them around that age.
Yeah.
So at 14, when I had the bizarre Hoover accident, that's where it comes from. Then Professor Dom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when he fell off the ladder and his belt broke at the same time, and his trousers fell down. He fell backwards.
Remember that Billy Connolly one, the one he said, "Big spike." So
he's got Parkinson now, isn't he?
Yeah. So then he and he's so concerned about Scotland, although he lives in Florida, doesn't he?
He used to, because when he was in the 70s and 80s, he was always on Parkinson, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And these days, he's got Parkinson.
Yeah.
Irony.
He then waited for his partner to fall asleep before performing various sexual acts. To maintain an adequate supply of this medication, Dahmer informed doctors he worked nights and required the tablets to adjust to that schedule. After approximately 12 such incidences, the Bathhouses Administration revoked Dahmer's membership. Imagine that, the CEO of Bathhouses has gone, "You're not fucking welcome here." I know we're kissing all over the place and fucking each other in the arse, but what you're doing is too far.
I think Pink News needs to address the bigotry by Bathhouse.
Did you see the South Park? Did you see the South Park where Butters' dad was going to bathhouses and Butters followed him and went in and caught him masturbating?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and his mother tries to drown him in the car, and but no, I think it's very bigoted what the Bathhouses did to it, and I hope Pink News gets an apology from the CEO of Bathhouses.
Yeah.
Because they just needed to accommodate, and be inclusive. That was very bigoted and discriminatory of them.
Well, he did carry out 12 instances of this before he was kicked out, so they were pretty tolerant. I would have done it after just one. One is enough for my establishment.
Well, they just didn't respect his fetish, They kink shamed him.
Exactly. Yeah, they were kink shaming him because they're bigots.
He was just being himself, and Big Bathhouse crushed him, didn't it? Big Bathhouse.
Yeah, they were oppressing him.
If I knew that Mark Lamar was a rapist, I wouldn't have let him in my pub.
Like they just, that's
what's Mark Lamar been up to?
Well, he's a rapist, but I used to come to my pub and I was like, all right, you can come in. You're probably not a rapist, but then some years later we find out he's a rapist, and I'm like, shit.
Who?
Who'd have thought a man who works for the BBC could be a rapist?
I heard that he did a false imprisonment, but later was exonerated of the issues.
Well,
who are we talking about?
I've got a story for that off the air, but I'll tell you about it later.
All right, carry on with this anyway. We're running.
We better clear this.
We haven't even got to.
What we got?
What?
Did Mark Lamar bum Jeffrey Dahmer in a bathhouse?
You don't see him on telly anymore, do you?
Personal life.
Never mind.
No, shit.
With other gay icons,
we can't say that about Mark Lamar, because on the 1st September 2018, the Metropolitan Police charged Lamar with common assault and false imprisonment. He was due to appear at Uxbridge Magistrates Court on 2nd of October 2018 to face the charges, but on the 1st of October 2018, the case was discontinued, with the Crown Prosecution Service confirming there was insufficient evidence to provide a realistic prospect of conviction. Later, Mark Lamar received an apology from the Crown Prosecution Service about the discontinued case, where it was observed that the prosecutor who authorised the charges did so in error.
Dragging Mark Lamar's name through the dirt.
I thought it was a bit weird, though. He used to come into my pub and just sit there drinking and smoking by himself, and I was like, hang on, you're Mark Lamar, you should have loads of...
The bathhouse was probably closed.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, then we better get on with the story, because it's where are we up to anyway?
Shortly after his bathhouse memberships were revoked, Dahmer read a report in a newspaper regarding the upcoming funeral of an 18-year-old man. He conceived the idea of stealing the freshly interred corpse and taking it home. According to Dahmer, he attempted to dig up the coffin from the ground, but found the soil too hard and abandoned the plan. Nobody ever accused Dahmer of doing a full hard day's work, did they?
Was he heard grunting, now then? How's about that?
I'm going to get you up. Now then, mother.
Jingle, jingle.
Duchess. Now then, Duchess.
I wish Jim had fixed it for me, Dahmer was heard to say.
Jim, could you fix it for me to have a JCB to dig up a freshly interred corpse?
Harris is on his way out as well, isn't he?
Who is?
Looks like he's going to go. Harris.
Which Harris?
Fucking... Rolf Harris.
Oh, right. Is he on his way out?
Yeah.
On the 8th of September 1986, Dahmer was arrested upon a charge of lewd and lascivious behaviour for masturbating in the presence of two 12-year-old boys as he stood close to the Kinnick River.
Connecticut.
Like I don't quite know where to finish that word. He initially claimed he'd merely been urinating, unaware there were witnesses, but soon admitted the offence. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I've tried that excuse, but it doesn't wash.
They won't have it, will they?
No.
The charge.
Look, I was merely relieving myself.
The charge was changed to disorderly conduct, and on March 10th, 1987, Dahmer was sentenced to 1 year of probation with additional instructions to undergo counselling. See, this is the thing with a lot of serial killers. They get away with a fuck ton of shit, a metric ton of bullshit, don't they, before they get anywhere near murder. I mean, there are so many places like the drugging people in the thing people should have done charges. Here, they downgrade the charge to disorderly conduct. Like, the bloke should have been in prison, shouldn't he, at some point?
Well, he should have had harsher penalties, and he should have been watched more closely. The signs were definitely there. These aren't one-off accounts. There was 12 in the bathhouse.
He was on the sex offenders register, wasn't he, for the lewd and lascivious?
They have that in those days because it was more acceptable, wasn't it, in those days?
Apparently, allegedly.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure if you were found to be a pedo, you had a fucking good pasting back in the old days, didn't you? I don't think they were like, oh yeah, well done, pal, and you get a pat on the back and someone buys you a pint for it.
Pete Townsend got off with it pretty lightly, didn't he?
God,
just say,
what are you talking about? He was just researching a book, you liar.
Well, Dahmer should have said that. Well, officer, I was just researching a book on drugging people and killing them and eating them. Oh, that's all right then. Off you go.
I think that's what's his name? The gay icon Anthony Fauci was saying that he was researching in the gay bathhouses to see how AIDS spread.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that?
Karaoke's Japanese for ting tong sing song says. So was Dahmer a giver or a taker? More like a takeawayer, am I right?
Boom, boom, an eater.
I was watching a documentary on about someone trying to catch a cannibal, and there's a website called Zambian Meat. But basically, you go on there, and if you're a chef, you're like someone who's kills and eats other people. And if you're a long pig, you're someone who's willing to be killed by a chef.
A long pig.
That's what happened with that German, wasn't it? That German, that geezer, didn't he?
Oh no, there was two that met up, and then they decided not to go through with it, or something weird. Yeah, there was one where he did actually eat it.
He chopped his
I'm sorry, I'm
bled to death, didn't he?
I'm sorry, I'm not interested in eating you.
Have you seen Cannibal Holocaust?
Yeah.
Two cannibals are like eating a clown, and one says to the other, "Does this taste funny to you?"
Good. It was the first found footage film. People think it was Blair Witch, but it wasn't. It was Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah, anyway, it's enough of that. And they thought people did actually get killed in the film, and they had to prove the actors were still alive in court. Anyway,
that's
the Zapruder film. The Zapruder film was the not found footage film, wasn't it? Hey.
Boom, boom.
Well, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really, the Zapruder film. But anyway,
imagine being the only person not wearing a hat. How embarrassing.
I thought of that joke, but I did hear Lee Mack say it on one of the panel shows when he was alive.
Oh, did he?
So we both thought of it.
Oh, is he dead?
Lee Mack ain't dead.
Yeah. Oh no, the other one. Sorry, not Lee Mack. There was two of them. The one with the glasses.
Norm MacDonald.
He's a bit like Lee
you
Mack.
mean
Sean Locke.
That's right. Yeah, Sean Locke.
Yeah,
I heard him say it anyway. Anyway, all right. Where are we on this?
His name was Gary. Sean Locke looks like a Gary, but anyway, back to gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer.
I think he looks more like a Kevin.
We're going off topic a lot tonight, so we better try and stick to it.
Yeah. On November 20th,
it's going to be a two-parter.
I think
Is
the
it
prison
like
years were interesting as well.
like some of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims?
Yeah. Hey. On November 20th, 1980. Why do these people always do it in fucking flats before we get there? I've just got to say, why do they do it in a fucking flat? Like, how is this how mental they are? They think, I know what I'll do. I'll just murder tens of people in a flat. Because that's a real great place to be getting rid of fucking bodies in.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No one notices.
What are you some sort of disposal snob? Like, I only dispose of.
I want to get a
The
flat.
thing is-
I want to get a 22nd floor
No.
flat because I plan on.
They can't hold down a steady job, can they? So that's why
Yeah.
they have to live in a cheaper property.
Wait.
So
To paraphrase Chris Rock, you either get your murder on or you get your flat on, don't you? You know, you can't do both, can you?
It was what's his name? Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He lived in a tool shed in the middle of nowhere. So he had the right idea.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Ted Kaczynski is asexual, which is part of the LGBT QAIOP plus. The plus stands for paedophile. But anyway, gay icon Jeffrey Dahmer. What did he do next?
So he moved into the Ambassador Hotel. November 20th, 1987, Dahmer, at the time residing with his grandmother in West Allis, encountered a 25-year-old man from Ontonagon, Michigan. What is it with these fucking names?
And it was an instant romance.
Stephen Tuomi.
Native American names, you racist.
There's a joke in here somewhere about Tuomi, but I can't think of it. At a bar, and persuaded him to return to the Ambassador Hotel in Milwaukee, where Dahmer had rented a room for the evening. According to Dahmer, why do they call him Jeffrey or Jeff? Jeffy Babes or something like that. He had no intention
because he killed people.
Dahmer. It's like they're speaking to a naughty child, isn't it?
He was a nasty piece of work, so you can't be too soft on him.
No, he was all right in the ringer, weren't he? Jeffy Dahmer, when he was in the Special Olympics.
Anyway, go for it.
Am I the only person that's seen the ringer here?
Was that with Johnny Knoxville?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
it was Jeffy Dahmer, weren't he? That's what he said his name was. The following morning, however, Dahmer awoke to find... No, sorry, missed a bit. Stephen Tuomi at a bar and persuaded him to return to the Ambassador Hotel, Milwaukee. Oh, renting room for the evening. Yeah, I've done that. According to Dahmer, he had no intention of murdering Tuomi, but rather intended to simply drug him and lie beside him as he explored his body. The following morning, however, Dahmer awoke to find Tuomi lying beneath him on the bed, his chest crushed in and black and blue with bruises. Blood was seeping from the corner of his mouth, and Dahmer's fists and his forearm were extensively bruised. Dahmer stated he had no memory of having killed Tuomi and later informed investigators he could not believe this had happened. You know, a bit like Fawlty Towers, you know, when Basil's just trying to do something and Manuel's getting in his way. It was a bit like that.
That's another Dennis Nielsen parallel. He would do that. He'd get blackout drunk and in the morning he'd be like, oh shit, I've done it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pissed the bed.
Whoops.
Mum.
Oh, how fucking silly of me.
Yeah. Oh no, how did this happen?
I am.
Looks on it like he's knocked over a beer or something, doesn't it? Oh no, oopsie, another dead body. To dispose of, again in a fucking hotel, he decides to murder someone.
And they don't notice. That's the crazy thing.
To dispose of Tuomi's body, Dahmer put Paddock got all that luggage containing guns and everything in without walking past a single CCTV camera in a casino. So, you know, it's entirely possible. To dispose of Tuomi's body, Dahmer purchased a large suitcase in which he transported the body to his grandmother's residence there. 1 week later, he severed the head, arms, and... I mean, what's the fucking smell like a week later? I mean,
This has similarities to the West. Fed West. As he dismembered the bodies, burying the garden.
Yeah,
it must have stunk.
Well, you know the difference between Fred West and John West, don't you?
Yeah.
John West take the bones out.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. Then filleted the bones from the body before cutting the flesh into pieces small enough to handle. Ugh. Like rotten flesh. Ooh. It's bad enough throwing out fucking chicken breasts that have been in the fridge too long, isn't it? Dahmer then placed the flesh inside plastic rubbish bags. He wrapped the bones inside a sheet and pounded them into splinters with a sledgehammer. The entire dismemberment process took Dahmer approximately 2 hours to complete. He disposed of all of Tuomi's remains, including the severed head, in the trash. For a total of 2 weeks following Tuomi... Go on then.
I was saying he should have put them in a bath with sulfuric acid and hydrogen peroxide. I learned that from Mythbusters.
He did try something very similar to that. We'll read about that later.
And also on Mythbusters, what I learned was the way they killed the shark in the first Jaws. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
They did that. They fired a cylinder, and it didn't explode. So when you watch that film,
what you saying stuff that happens in films isn't real? You know.
I thought it was. I thought Jaws was a documentary about a shark.
Yeah. If magic ain't real, then how do they cast spells in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have they done that yet? Seeing if they could do the Expelliarmus or whatever the hell.
Yeah, but like, if it's not real, how do they do it?
I'll tell you what I learned from Mythbusters. Jet fuel does melt steel beams.
Yeah.
That's the old 9/11 conspiracy. Yeah.
Did you remember? Did you watch the 9/11 episode? Just pure pantomime, all of it.
Was it based on that loose change documentary?
Crisis actors.
Oh, is that what they did? Is that what they based it on? I just wonder. I think they just did it on the popular myths.
Yeah, I think that's where they all originated from.
Yeah. For a total of 2 weeks following Tuomi's murder, Dahmer retained the victim's head wrapped in a blanket. I mean, this thing's got to be humming, isn't it? It's like nobody's noticed. What, they just think he's fucking dropping some bombs in there. Is that?
Didn't even have Febreze back then.
Jeffrey, you got to stop farting in the room, mate. It stinks. It's like what? It's like why is nobody noticing this shit? That's what I want to know. I mean, like, if he was living with his mum, I'd understand because she's out of her head, fucking shitting herself, isn't she?
You're not allowed to notice things if you recall.
Yeah. After 2 weeks, Dahmer boiled the head in a mixture of Soilex. Hobbit, your bit now. In a mixture of Soilex, an alkali-based industrial detergent, and bleach. Hobbit. Is he gone? He always disappears when you want to speak to him. Little git. Yeah, so Hobbit was saying before that basically Soilex and bleach is mixing bleach and bleach in an effort to retain the skull, which he then used as a stimulus for masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I dread to think.
They didn't have the internet in those days, see, so they had to do something.
So it was more of a no fleshlight then, was it?
He's like, oh yeah, the smell turns me on.
There was no porn hub.
Fucking too far.
Because I think with like a lot of these weird evil people, they actually enjoy being like smelly and disgusting. So I reckon like he got off on the smell he did.
Yeah, because was it the Richard Ramirez that apparently smelt like gone off milk, didn't he?
Yeah, he went out of his way to be as disgusting as possible.
It was an itinerant, wasn't he? Basically.
Yeah. It was my other favourite's the what's his name, the Sacramento vampire. He thought his blood was turning to dust in his veins, and that's why he was drinking blood, didn't he? That's how fucking nuts he was.
What the fuck?
Sacramento schizophrenic, more like.
Yeah, Sacramento.
It's like with Christian, he was like, "Oh yeah, so like I drink my own cum to recycle it."
Now, some of you might be saying, Hobbit, why do you keep saying gay sensation Jeffrey Dahmer? Well, there's a lot of fan art written about him in the LGBTQIAAUP plus the plus stands for paedophile community.
Hobbit, you missed the Soilex and bleach. comment.
Oh, right, yes, yeah.
You said it's basically bleach and bleach.
Yeah, bleach and with some more bleach.
So is bleach alkali-based as well, then? Because it says soylent, an alkali-based industrial detergent.
The bleach is alkali, yeah.
Eventually the scald was rendered too brittle by the bleaching process. So Dahmer pulverised and disposed. I dread to think how he pulverised it. Oh, God. There he is, using his no fleshlight, and it's falling to bits on him. Oh, grim.
But it wouldn't be that difficult, to pulverise the skull, especially if it was quite old. So. And
he's bleached it as well, which would weaken the bones, wouldn't it?
It would weaken it, yeah. So.
That's nice. There's some artwork here which says "My Friend Dahmer."
Yeah. There's a documentary called My Friend My Friend Dahmer. Isn't
there? Oh, right, okay.
It's about the guy who was mates with him at school.
There's one here of who's that guy Jeffrey Dahmer's with? I'm just going to copy the image and I'll paste it into the general, and then you can have a look at it yourself. And just
some good portraits there.
Yeah, they're just lots of fan art of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh,
he's with Michael Jackson in that last one, isn't
there's an anime one, isn't there?
I think we should all do some homework and find out if anyone we knew at school is now a serial killer.
Reminds me of Red Dwarf. Do you remember that one when Lister said, I went to someone who was famous? Who's that then? Charles Keenan. What's he famous for? He ate his wife. Do you remember that?
Someone in school, I was in school with, there was a tranny now. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, should we move on? Should I pick up the thread?
Go on then.
Oh, yeah. No, you go for it. Yeah, I'll do the next bit.
Go on, you do the intermediate incidents then.
I'll do a bit then, yeah. Alright, following the murder of Tumoni, Dahmer began to actively seek his victims.
Is that why he killed him? Tumoni?
Yeah, most of whom he encountered in or close to gay bars, and whom he typically lured. I've been drinking. I'm on my homebrew tonight. Typically lured into his grandma's house. He would drug his victim with triazolam or temazepam, whatever they are, before shortly after engaging in sexual activity with them.
Once he rendered Triazolam, brand name Halcyon. You ever heard of that one? Is
Mazepam.
Oh, I know Halcyon. Yeah, that's Orbital did the song
Halcyon
On and On.
Yeah.
That song, the sound of in it is their mum who would just make the same sort of melody all day long while she was on Halcyon.
It's a
bit like Tramadol Nights.
Of the triazolobenzodiazepine class, which are benzodiazepine derivatives. So there you go.
Downers, basically.
Yeah. So anyway,
they're kind of like are they paralysing or they're kind of they must
like
have some sort of like anaesthetic because that's what he's after, isn't he? He wants some.
Just they're like Valium, basically.
Yeah. He wants them smacked out of their face and not moving, doesn't he?
Anyway, once he had rendered his victims unconscious with sleeping pills, he then killed them by strangulation.
Oh God! Look at this. This is the Dennis Nielsen reboot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like Dennis Nielsen, but Netflix are making it.
Exactly. 2 months after the Tumoni murder, Dahmer encountered a 14-year-old Native American male prostitute named James Doxator. Dahmer lured the youth to his home.
Gave him?
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a very Native American name, does it? Flying Eagle or something like that. Dahmer lured the youth to his home with an offer of $50 to pose for its Talis residents. The pair engaged in sexual activity before Dahmer drugged Doxator and strangled him on the floor of the cellar. Dahmer left the body in the cellar for a week before dismembering it in much the same way as he had done with Tayomi.
His nan didn't even notice a body in the cellar. Like, probably fucking tripped.
They don't, though, do they? They don't.
I just, what the fuck? Was she dumb, deaf, and fucking blind or something? Jesus Christ.
Well, they do have hearing problems in those days. Can they get on a bit?
Hey?
He placed all of Dr. Tor's remains, excluding the skull, in the bin. The skull was boiled and cleansed with bleach before Dahmer noted it had been rendered too brittle by this process. He pulverized the skull 2 weeks later. Yep. Good head.
Yeah.
So, on March the 24th, 1988, Dahmer met 22-year-old bisexual man, Richard Guerrero, outside a gay bar called the Phoenix. Maybe it was that one in Police Academy.
Or
what was
Brian
that
Potter's,
one?
Or Brian Potter's.
The Blue Oyster. They conned the two guys to go to the gay bar. Anyway,
maybe
and they ended
Brian Potter's place from Phoenix Nights. That's the Phoenix, isn't it?
And they ended up getting sexually assaulted.
Max and Paddy.
Do they do it as well? Dahmer lured Guerrero to his grandmother's residence, although the incentive on this occasion was $50 simply to spend the remainder of the night with him. He then drugged him with sleeping pills and strangled him with a leather strap. Dahmer then performed oral sex upon the corpse. Would he be able to, would the corpse respond? So it's rigor mortis.
Well, he likes his stiffy.
Yeah. Dahmer dismembered the body within 24 hours of murdering him and again disposing of the remains in the bin and retaining the skull before pulverizing it several months later. So yeah, he's picking up a bit of momentum now with his
well, he's got
killing spree.
He's got the bit down pat, hasn't he?
Got the bit between the teeth. April the 24th that year, 1988, Dahmer lured another young man into his house. However, after giving the victim a drugged coffee, both he and the attended victim heard Dahmer's grandmother call, "Is that you, Jeff?" Although Dahmer replied in a manner that led his grandmother to believe he was alone, she observed that Dahmer was not alone. Because of this, Dahmer opted not to kill this particular victim, instead waiting until he had become unconscious before taking him to the County General Hospital. So yeah. Is that gay slang then, County General Hospital? I took him up to the County General Hospital that night.
Just like all of these people are just allowing him to operate. It's just absolutely amazing. Isn't it?
Well, they're down and out, so aren't they? Just do anything for money.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people like his parents, his mother, you know, the bathhouse people. Like, look, dude.
Yeah. That's the one I didn't get, to be honest.
We're taking your license, your bathhouse license off.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll let you off this time, but you do that again, and we'll rebuff your license.
We'll let you do this the next 12 times, but do it.
You've done it again. Look. All right, we'll let you off this time again, but you do that again, and we are going to rebuff your license.
The 12th
must
time.
Have gone under
the
new
12th
management.
Time, that's it, buddy.
Right then, anyway. So in September 1988, Dahmer's grandmother asked him to move out, largely because of his drinking, his habit of bringing young men into her house and of late nights, and the foul smells occasionally emerging from both the basement and the garage. Dahmer found a one-bedroom apartment at 808 North 24th Street and moved into his new residence on September the 25th. 2 days later, he was arrested for drugging and sexually fondling a 13-year-old boy whom he had lured to his home in the pretext of posing for nude photos.
So yeah, that's a bit... Not fucking 1888, Jesus Christ. Is it not illegal to be drugging and sexually fondling 13-year-old boys?
One of his victims was the cousin of a guy that he like molested or something, and knew him.
Well, it's all pretty fucked up by now, isn't it? You know, even if you drug an adult and fondling them, that's out of order. But to do it to a 13-year-old boy as well, it's obviously, you know.
Yeah.
Bad.
But it's.
Bad
I
news.
think they gain some sort of permission, like when he got let off the other charge. Pretty much let off the other charge, didn't he? Because he didn't do any time. He didn't do any time for it, and the police let him let it get downgraded. Like they seem to get murderers do get a lot of permission to do this stuff, don't they?
They start thinking, well, I'm not going to get caught now.
Yeah.
Like Savile probably thought. Yeah, and the Sutcliffe as well. He was interviewed, 9 times before he got arrested, and he was starting to think, well, and the police couldn't find him. They had a huge operation. They still couldn't find him, and he was thinking, well,
the man that they'd found 5 or 6 times.
Right, 9 times it was in the end,
times,
That's like the genius of the police. Let's do so badly in our investigation that they get complacent.
It was because they didn't have computers, though. Really, that was such a big operation, and they had a paper-based system, and they just couldn't keep on top of it.
He filled out every single one of their to-do list, didn't he? That was the.
I know, and lots of other people did as well. Lots of other people did, and the information was all over the place.
He had more because he literally got paid those £5 fucking notes, didn't he? Like they tried.
Yeah, but there were other people. They traced it down to about 200 people, I think. So it's about that. Yeah. So before giving up on the inquiry to follow up the hoax tape.
Well, he looks like a wrong as well, though, doesn't he?
But then lots of people looked like that in the 70s. This is why. They did, didn't they? Beard and long hair, and flares. But anyway, back onto this one. So back to the 13-year-old boy. Where was I with that? Oh yeah, you got arrested for that. Dahmer's father hired an attorney named Gerald Boyle to defend his son. At Boyle's request, Dahmer underwent a series of psychological evaluations prior to his upcoming court hearings. These evaluations revealed Dahmer harbored deep feelings of alienation. A second evaluation 2 months later revealed Dahmer had an impulsive individual and was suspicious of others and dismayed by his lack of accomplishments in life. His probation officer referenced a 1987 diagnosis of Dahmer suffering from schizoid personality disorder for presentation to the court. So that's what Sutcliffe tried, wasn't it?
Actually, that sounds bad, but it's like a schizoid personality disorder. It's a personality disorder characterised by a lack of interest in social relationships, a tendency towards solitary or sheltered lifestyle, secretiveness, emotional coldness, detachment, and apathy. So it's like it doesn't.
Gamer.
It sounds a lot. It sounds like you just spend all day carrying around an axe planning to murder people, but it just means people who are withdrawn, doesn't it?
Introverts.
Yeah, got something to hide anyway. But yeah, Peter Sutcliffe actually tried to get that his murders changed to manslaughter because he was tried to get diagnosed with schizophrenic, and he was, but the court wouldn't have it. They wanted him to go to prison.
Well, didn't he say that Jesus told him to murder the prostitutes?
Yeah, he tried that, but then he was overheard saying to his wife that he was going to try and pretend he was mad and get 10 years in the loony bin.
Wasn't that the same with that Son of Sam serial killer? Saying that God talked to him through a dog.
Will we be broaching the subject soon of Imagination Land?
We got a few things in the pipeline,
but I couldn't find anything about it. That was when he was younger. He retreated into a place called Imagination Land, but I couldn't actually find
Imagination Land.
That's from South Park, isn't it?
Land.
I assume that was deliberate. Because they did the one. They did the Three Stooges bit. And Dahmer was one of them, weren't he?
Anyhow, just go cover this last bit of his midlife murders. Yeah. On the 30th of January 1989, Dahmer pleaded guilty to the charges of second-degree sexual assault and of eliciting a child for immoral purposes.
Now, Scott, to interrupt you there, Jeffrey Dahmer was baptized on the same day as John Wayne Gacy's execution.
Or thought for the day.
Yeah.
Sentencing for the assault was suspended until May. On March the 20th, Dahmer commenced a 10-day Easter absence from work during which he moved back to his grandmother's house. So yeah,
it's all going to go well when he moves back to his grandma's.
Yeah, it's a free for all round there, isn't it? So 2 months after his conviction and 2 months prior to his sentencing for the sexual assault, Dahmer committed his murdered his fifth victim, a mixed-race 24-year-old aspiring model named Anthony Sears.
Nowadays he'd be aspiring SoundCloud rapper and footballer.
Yeah. Whom Dahmer met in a gay bar on March the 25th, 1989. According to Dahmer...
Gay bar.
Go to a gay bar.
Oh, I want to take you to a gay bar.
Well, I did go to a gay bar, actually, in March. No, in May, after I saw Alan Partridge. So, and they had a tranny singing.
Really? I thought Alan Partridge was really good in that detective mystery with Caroline Ahern. Oh, what was it called? Murder Most Horrid.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that Alan Partridge? Was he in that?
Not Alan Partridge. Sorry,
Alan
the guy
Davis.
with the curly hair.
So you don't mean Murder Most Horrid, you mean Jonathan Creek?
That's it. What was Murder Most Horrid then?
Murder Most Horrid was like
French,
The Young Ones and French and Saunders and that era of alternative comics.
What's the thing Michael Palin did?
Around the World. Oh, that with Terry Jones. That thing after Monty Python they did that.
Yeah,
it was like old boys.
Murder Most something, wasn't it?
No, it was Tales of something, wasn't it? It was.
Right, okay.
I can't fucking remember, to be honest. It was good though, actually. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry Jones was in it, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
I can't fucking. What was it called? People in the chat could help. I'm sure if you Googled it, you find it straight away.
Keep talking, I'll find it.
Yeah, we've got to say it. Anyway, according to Dahmer, on this particular occasion, he was not looking to commit a crime. However, shortly before closing time that evening, Sears just started talking to me. Dahmer lured Sears to his grandmother's house again, with a pair engaged in oral sex. It's gross. Before Dahmer drugged and strangled Sears. The following moment. Yeah, putting their dicks in each other's mouths.
That was it, wasn't it?
I said ripping yarns. It was good, that, wasn't it? Anyway, the following morning, Dahmer placed the corpse in his grandmother's bathtub, where he decapitated the body before attempting to flay the corpse. He stripped the flesh from the body and pulverized the bones,
What does his
which he disposed.
His nan never bath? Oh, sorry, Nan. There's a fucking dead body. What? She went in there for a piss or something. She didn't even notice the fucking dead body in the bath. What's going on here?
Yeah. Anyway, according to Dahmer, he found Sears exceptionally attractive.
Oh,
and
Nan.
Sears
Oh,
was
Nan. There's a spider in the bathtub. You can't go in there.
Jeffrey, what's this penis doing in the kettle? I was just going to make me a nice cup of tea. Because old women like cups of tea, don't they?
For American audiences, by cup of tea it means a cup of coffee, and put it in the kettle means put the cup of coffee in the microwave.
Yeah. She had the shock of her fucking life when she went to make that cup of tea.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Jeffrey,
okay, blah, blah,
why
blah.
does this tea bag smell funny? It's not a tea bag.
Why does this tea taste of cheese?
No.
Yeah.
It's French roast.
Brings a whole new meaning to the word teabagging.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
I was just
right,
like, what the fuck's going on with you? His nan, she needs putting in a fucking home or something, because she literally got no idea what's going on, has she?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm surprised he didn't corner it of her pension money and shit. But anyway, so
wait. Hey, come on, he's got morals. He's no fraudster.
Yeah, quite true. Yeah, he's not that bad.
Yeah, he wouldn't love his nan. Fucking hell.
Anyway,
first shit on your own doorstep.
Yeah, bleach your own door.
Anyway, so this was the first victim that Sears permanently retained any body parts. He preserved Sears' head and genitalia, and stored them in a wooden box,
Hobbit,
which he later placed in his
preserving a head and genitalia in acetone, is that actually going to do any good?
That would make it a dickhead.
Well, the thing I know about acetone is they use it as a nail varnish remover.
It's a solvent, isn't it? So it's CH3 Hobbit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a solvent. It's going to work similar to alcohol. It strips things. It smells nice. Shouldn't smell too much, though.
Yeah, anyway, let's just finish up his 80s killings. When he moved to a new address the following year, he took the remains with him. And on May the 24th, 1989, Dahmer was sentenced to 5 years probation and 1 year in a house of correction.
On, this is interesting. Dermatologists use acetone with alcohol for acne treatments to chemically peel dry skin. Common agents used today for chemical peeling as salicylic acid, glycolic acid, blah, blah, blah.
Salicylic acid is also acetyl salicylic acid, it's known as aspirin.
Yeah,
that's easy for you to say.
If that's going to chemically peel the skin, it's going to dry it right out, isn't it? From what it says.
Yeah. Salicylic acid is used in verruca treatments.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But so there you go. So where is he getting these ideas for these fucking crazy treatments? Because none of them seem to make any sense, do they?
Should have watched Mythbusters.
Yeah.
Do you think he just liked experimenting? Because
a Mythbusters going to do a Jeffrey Dahmer special where he puts all the head and genitalia in acetone.
Well, I believe.
Did I miss that Mythbusters?
I believe the first Mythbusters they're going to do is the one just to prove the Holocaust, because that was, what harm could they have in just, proving it was like what they said it is.
Yeah.
But then they'll get round to Jeffrey Dahmer because love is love.
Yeah. They should do a Jeffrey Dahmer special. I want to sit on it. Hey, what we're doing, Jamie, is we're going to put the genitalia in acetone and see what happens.
We're going to put your genitalia in acetone.
See, this doesn't make sense. So it says he preserved Sears' head and genitalia in acetone and stored them in a wooden box. Well, fucking acetone ain't going to hang around in a wooden box, is it?
Well, we know that wooden doors are airtight. They sealed up. There was that big explosion in the North Sea or the Baltic Sea with the gas coming out, so they put a wooden door on it. And it's fixed now.
Vinegar could work, said Uno. I think you think.
I remember that one.
It might work on his conkers. I don't know about his head and genitalia.
Oh, you've knackered me conkers.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, just finish off though on this. This was his punishment though. So he was sentenced for trying to kill a 13-year-old boy, or trying to get off with him even. He was sentenced to 5 years probation. And 1 year in the House of Correction with work release permitted in order that he would be able to keep his job.
Is he mate Jeffrey Epstein? This is like Jeffrey Epstein when he got done for all that fucking, was it child trafficking or whatever? And they just let him carry on going to work every day. Just had to go to prison at night.
Yeah.
Speaking of Epstein, have you heard about the latest Clinton-related suicide case?
They're not suicide. Hey, look, Don, if you know enough people, there's going to be enough accidents. For God's sake.
Light airplane accidents are very common.
Yeah.
Yeah, light airplane accidents are very common.
Latest one, hanged himself and shot himself in the chest with a shotgun.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see anything controversial about that.
He was just making sure we got the job done. Like incredibly industrious.
Anyway, he was also required to register as a sex offender. Well,
which means you're a sex offender, and then that's it.
I'm sure he's not bothered about that.
And then after that, they just don't even bother looking you up ever. It's like, what's the point of being on the sex offenders register if it doesn't fucking mean anything at all? It's like no eye is kept on you whatsoever.
Imagine it affects the house prices.
Yeah,
you go to buy a new house and you can look on an app and it will show you all the sex offenders in the area.
Pete Townsend ended up on the sex offender, and all he was doing was researching a book. So that's a bit out of order, isn't it? So, anyway,
highly draconian.
Just to finish this bit off, though, 2 months before his scheduled release from the work camp, Dahmer was paroled from this, and I know it's this homebrew. His 5 years probation imposed in 1989 began at this point. Oh man, yeah, this is. You had some of my homebrew, didn't you, Dom? Remember?
Yeah. It's good shit.
Yeah, this is bloody. It tastes a bit funny. It's a bit funny. But I think it's about 7%. Anyway, on release, Dahmer temporarily moved back to his grandmother's house. Well, surprise, surprise, in West Alice. It's just. There's a surprise. He ended up back. Well, you don't say.
Right. So after that, what have we got? 8 minutes.
Is this homebrew all right to you?
I don't know. It's
so
does this homebrew smell all right?
After his dad,
it smells a bit. I tell you what, it smells a bit like
Jeffrey victims.
It's a bit like it's got this kind of a sherry smell to it. I think I put too much sugar in it, but that was only because I knew that would make it stronger. But anyway, go on then.
With Yanks and their fucking shitty usage of our words, I'll get to that in a bit. On May,
it's the American education system.
Oh God, you've got to listen to this. In a minute, I'll do a trigger warning for this American usage of a fucking perfectly normal word. On May 14th, 1990, Dahmer moved out of his grandmother's house and into 924 North 25th Street, apartment 213. Fucking, do they need some more numbers in that address or what?
They like their numbers, don't they, Americans?
924, just 924 North 25th Street, apartment 213. Just rolls off the tongue.
Rolls off the tongue,
so
yeah.
If they liked their numbers, they wouldn't have month, day, year.
Yeah. So apartment 213. So inferring the twat's living on the fucking second floor, and he's gonna carry on just fucking murdering people.
Yeah.
Taking Sears mummified head and genitals. Oh God, can you imagine what? I don't even want to know what a mummified cock looks like. Jesus Christ.
Like a cigar.
Although located in a high crime area, the apartment was close to his workplace. Was furnished at $300 a month, inclusive of all bills, including electricity. Was economical. That's not actually that bad, is it? Within 1 week of moving into his new apartment, Dahmer had killed his 6th victim, Raymond Smith, on the second fucking floor. And it's just Jeffrey is a murderer. That's it. You know, it's just what he does.
Hey, do you wish to engage in consensual murder? Oh, who's getting murdered? Well, come over and you'll find out.
Yeah.
I lived on a first floor flat, and every time I farted, the person below would get upset. How would I get away with killing someone?
Smith was a 32-year-old male prostitute who Dahmer lured to apartment 213 with the promise of $50 for sex. The old $50 seems to be just the right amount for sex work, isn't it?
I'll pay you $50 so I can murder you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm having an
Don't
old
spend
friend
it all
for
on
dinner.
Why are you promising $50? Why not just say, I'll give you $500?
Yeah. He's not
you
paying.
Make it like
Is this how
you know you're going to get the money back.
Is this how tight Jeffrey Dahmer is? He doesn't even want to give away an imaginary $50 for sex.
It's weird, isn't it? It's just like, well, why don't you just say, I'll give you $500, right?
I'm pretty sure there was a murderer that offered like $300 and $500. Yeah, it's like that's how tight Jeffrey Dahmer was. He wouldn't even offer a decent imaginary amount. Inside the apartment, he gave Smith a drink laced with 7 sleeping pills, then manually strangled him. The following day, Dahmer purchased a Polaroid camera, which he took several pictures of Smith's bodies in suggestive positions before dismembering him in the bathroom. Now, this is the trigger warning. He boiled the legs, arms, and pelvis in a steel kettle with Stoilex. What fucking kettle are you going to get legs, arms, and fucking pelvis into?
Big one.
What fucking...
No, is it...
Jesus Christ, fucking yanks.
You know when I said kettle... And for popping corn, like that's what we call a large pot, but they call it a kettle.
Yeah.
A cauldron.
It's like
a cauldron. Yeah.
Can we just have English back off them because they're just
wrong
ruining it.
Nothing wrong with the way Americans use our words. You twat.
Oh God, no! Don't.
Do you know? I only found out recently that twat was them saying twat. I thought it was some like. I thought it was just like their. I just thought it was their word for twat. I didn't realise it was.
Twat,
and it's spelt exactly
twat.
the same as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, twat is twat. Hobbit.
Yeah, it's just like because I thought, is it twit? Yeah, also you've been watching Sopranos. That's why they've been saying twat.
I found it out somewhere. No, I actually found it out somewhere else where someone actually mentioned.
I know. I listened to podcasts and they like from comedians from.
You've been listening to the last podcast on the left because that was where I heard them have a conversation about it.
Oh right, yeah, no, they say it quite often.
Yeah, and it's spelled so you pronounce TWAT as twat, Hobbit.
Yes, that's the way to pronounce the letter A. Yeah. Americans are very. Do you think that's why, like Jeffrey Dahmer did all those murders, which the consensual activity? Sorry, I don't mean to sound bigoted. I'm just getting infected with the Wikipedia, which is a very bigoted source.
So he boiled the legs.
Remember, love
pelvis,
is love.
I'll remind you, in a steel kettle with Soilex. So this bloke in a second floor flat is boiling body parts with bleach, and nobody says a fucking word to him.
Cool. Yeah, because they're just like, oh well, that's spicy Cajun cuisine you got cooking there.
Which allowed him to.
So he lived in the ghetto. And I think people complained a few times, but they never checked it out. It was like, just ghetto things, you know?
Yeah, because they got shitty landlords, basically.
Yeah. Which allowed it, because it says it was in a high crime area, but still, fuck me. Like, you would have thought his neighbours would have gone, can you knock off the boiling bleach, dickhead?
Yeah.
You would have thought someone would at least give him a fucking beating over the fucking constant stink of fucking bleach throughout the flats.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Which allowed him to rinse the bones in his sink. Dahmer dissolved the remainder of Smith's skeleton, including... Like, the dude's got a home business now, disposing of body parts, and still nobody has fucking noticed.
Yeah.
Excluding the skull, in a container filled with acid. Like, when he was bringing the big blue drum up... So he's got a big blue drum of acid in his apartment, Hobbit. Like, he's bringing the big blue. What are you using that? What are you doing with that in an acid? Fucking barrel in a flat.
And then Jeffrey Dahmer responded, "Love is love." Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh, I respect, yeah, because I'm not a bigot. I'm a proud ally. Pride."
What I would do with all that flesh, if I was him, I'd set up a business and sell it as like vegetarian burgers.
Soylent Green burger. Come buy you Soylent Green burgers.
That's it. Yeah.
He later spray painted Smith's skull, which he placed along the skull of Sears, upon a black towel inside a metal filing cabinet. So he'd learnt not to fuck the skulls until they fall apart. Then I'll take it.
He was perfecting his preferences, his stuff.
Approximately 1 week after the murder of Smith, on or about May 27th, Dahmer lured a second young man to his apartment. On this occasion, Dahmer accidentally consumed the drink laden with sedatives intended for consumption by his guests. When he awoke the following day...
Oh, what a faux pas!
How fucking stupid is that?
He discovered his intended victim had stolen several items of his clothing, $300 and a watch. Dahmer never reported this incident to police, although on May 29th he divulged this to his probation officer that he'd been robbed. So are we putting a pin in it now? Are we done for the evening?
Mark where we are.
Yeah.
Make a note of it, and then we can pick it up, because there's quite a bit. This could be a 3-part, especially if we're messing around and going off topic as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
But Jesus Christ, look, if if somebody's stinking your whole apartment block out with bleach, like, go and have a word, try and find out what they're doing, or at least fucking punch them. Don't let them get away with it, because the more you let them get away with it, the more they're going to get away with it.
No, Sir Hemmingford Grey. That's very bigoted, and we're not have any bigoted language on our show because we respect people's alternative sexuality and lifestyles. They're just as valid as yours or mine.
As a trans woman of colour, I would agree with that.
And as a non-binary gender fluid, I too agree with what I've just said because my statement is valid.
I agree with it, and I'm a spastic, so I'm in on it as well.
Yeah, which is a perfectly valid gender.
Yeah.
Jimmy Savile, I also agree.
Yeah. See? When will you identify as a Jeffrey Dahmer? Or a Dennis Nielsen?
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, should we end with a bit of news I've just found in the Telegram channel? French school asks parents to stop throwing children over the fence when they're late.
Well, not...
Yeet the child.
What do you mean? What do you mean I was here all the time, teacher?
Now, are they French in quotes? You know.
Don't know. It just says French.
Oh, okay, another thing. If I just referred to the Fortean Words channel, rumors. Again, this is a sort of famous phrase on our show, but it's the catchphrase. Rumors are that anti-satellite lasers are being deployed in many Russian cities. This could be a precedent for saying big. The first response was literally nothing. Wow, funny enough, the first response is literally nothing is happening, you're a gullible schizo, and the second response is swamp gas reflecting off Venus.
Yeah.
So, was that you, Hemi?
No, it weren't me. I've never ever. I always found it too difficult to post on there. Oh yeah, remember it's Halloween spooky stories at the end of the month. If anyone wants to bung me a story that they want me to read out, I'll do it.
It's going to shit you up, so tune in.
Yeah.
And Christmas we'll have spooky Christmas stories as well about pedo Santas and that shit. Yeah.
I have to watch last year's episode to make sure we don't do the same things again.
And yeah. I'd just like to say as well, Netflix removes LGBTQ+, the plus stands for paedophile tag, from Dahmer because they're being very bigoted and they don't accept that love is love. And I think, us in the trans community, we object to this.
Oh, apparently Yanks spell it twat, TWOT. Jello Biafra made a joke about the war on terror. Oh, look, communist in the chat.
War of terror.
I'm surprised Netflix didn't cast the actor. Looks a lot like Dahmer. Surprised they didn't cast like a black disabled woman or something.
I'm looking forward to what's his name Ryan Gosling being recast as the new Black Panther.
I'm surprised they didn't blackwash Jeffrey Dahmer in the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary.
Well, he's the evil white man oppressing the blacks, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
But they were engaging in consensual interracial relationships.
Oakwood said, "Dead Kennedy's fan equals commie." It's a joke. It's a joke. Oakwood said, "I too like the dead." Anyone else here a fan of the Dead Kennedys?
Are they the ones that did the song "Smells Like Teenage Spirit"?
No, that's Nirvana.
No, that was. They did Holiday in Cambodia.
Yeah.
Oh, that song.
Too Drunk to Fuck.
Oh, them. Okay. Yeah.
And he's done a lot of rap.
Weird Al Yankovic did Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
Did he?
It smells like Nirvana.
His own version.
It smells like Nirvana.
Smells like Nirvana.
And Eat It by Michael Jackson.
Eat it,
and,
eat it.
And topical
when I see a pizza.
And topical this week because we lost Coolio. They did Amish Paradise as well, didn't they?
Oh yes. Rest in peace, Coolio, for noticing nothing whatsoever and having evidence on that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. he actually had evidence. So.
Jello Biafra got sued by the rest of the dead Kennedys for withholding royalties. Oof. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know. I suppose you could call them commies because they did do Nazi punks. He's a bit right on, isn't he? A bit woke.
Yeah.
Right, are we all done for the evening?
New Ben Elton.
Yeah.
We're done.
We'll tell everyone to stay spooky. Say goodnight, Hobbit.
Ooh. Don't say fuckle bugger.
Say goodnight, Hobbit.
Good night, Hobbit.
Night all. Stay spooky.